Hello, my lovely Libras. Thank you for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm doing these monthly horoscopes live because I've noticed that not that many people watch them. So obviously, I'm not giving you something that you need. So I'm doing them live to open them up to general questions so that you get something out of these. Because the only reason I make these is that you get something out of them. And if it's not working, then I will tirelessly try to make it work because I want you to make the most of the astrology and I want it to be as helpful as possible. So this is live, so I'll take questions. I'll do the reading first and see what I get for Libra in May. But at the end, I'll take questions. However, the video stays up live. No, it stays up even after I've gone off live. It stays there. So if you could give feedback as to what's missing, what you'd like to see, then I can include that next time around. All right? Hello, Ruby. Hi, nice to see you. Now, the first 4 days of May, you've got your ideas and the way you think about work and whether you love work or not and whether you need healing or you're comfortable in your working life relationships. So with your co-workers, also whether relationships in your family or romantic relationships have become something like work. You really put those under the microscope and you realize whether your relationships are good or whether the love and passion has kind of fizzled out of them and the love cycle has completed. And you're able to look at those and say, do you know what? This has just become a chore. I'm gonna get out of this. You're just cross-watching for all the people you love? That's sweet. You're probably a Cancer, right? Okay, so the first 4 days, evaluate your relationships and you're able to really, hello. You're able to make changes to those relationships. On the 4th of May, we've got a new moon in Taurus. I've made a separate video on this. The new moon is when the moon and the sun sit together and the moon pulls in loads of energy to get ready for its next monthly cycle. And in this case, it pulls in loads of Taurus energy. The important thing for you, Libra, to know is that it happens in your 8th house of the self in connection to institutions, people who are bigger than you. So Taurus is about being practical, and the new moon also has Uranus sitting on it, and Uranus is the rebel, it's the eccentric, it's saying, I don't listen to rules, I don't do well with authority, I say what goes, and I have ideas, and even if they're crazy or they seem totally impractical, I'm going to do those because I feel strongly about them. So what's going to happen for you in this new moon in Taurus is that you're impeccably practical and you know that you do a good job. And if you're an employee at a company, you start to examine whether you're able to, whether you have a voice, whether you're allowed to make a contribution. And if you're not, then you're evaluating your working life relationships, remember? And it may just be that if you have absolutely no voice, no say in what goes, that you either look for a promotion so that you have more input and more say and more power, also that you get more money. Taurus rules money. My Venus is in Libra, lucky timing. Great. So, that will give you more money because Taurus is stability and money and security and luxury. And that will allow you to take your ideas. But if you're in a job where you're just data inputting or it's just a factory job or something where you really have there's no space or no interest in what you have to think or say, then you might really evaluate that and you may say, do you know what, I could do better on my own. I don't need this. And I do have something to say. And I don't want to be doing a job where I'm just anybody, where I'm just a number. You're crushing on a Libra man, they're hard to read. They are hard to read because Libras can get on with anybody. They're very charming. They'll be very positive and trusting, But once you cross them and they don't trust you anymore, it's over. So it is hard to read them because they're always really friendly, usually. So you don't know whether it's just the normal charm he gives to everyone or whether it's particularly aimed at you. If you want to have a reading with me, I can draw up his chart and yours and see if you're compatible. Do you have more willpower on the new moon in Taurus? Absolutely, because Taurus is about control. That whole axis, Taurus and Scorpio, that axis is about physical control with Taurus and emotional control with Scorpio. And we have a full moon in Scorpio later on in the month, on the 18th of May. So at the beginning of the month here, you can take control of your work. And if you're totally mute and there's no space for your ideas, you're going to reconsider that and you're going to say, I am going to do something else. Keep your comments short, please, because I can't read something so long before it fades. So try and keep it short, then I can answer it. So that's on the 4th. On the 7th, watch the new moon video, please, and remember that the new moon happens in your 8th house. That's the most important for you guys, Libra. On the 7th of May, we have Mercury moving into Taurus, and it joins all the other planets in your 8th house. So now you become even clearer. Do I have control over this situation? Am I needed? Am I making the right amount of money? Do I have control? That's the big key thing. If you have no control, it's the best time for you Libras to make a decision and to make yourself self-employed or to ask for promotions to put you in positions of power. That clarity continues until the 16th. So you've got the first 16 days of May to really sort out your business, your work, your career, your employment, and your self-employment. If you're self-employed, you're really going to examine how you're going to make more money and what structures you can put in place to create a passive income for yourself. And you'll be flooded with ideas on that. So that's really excellent. Excellent, dude. Okay. On the 16th, Venus, your ruler, moves into Taurus and it joins every other planet in the 8th. So you have a stellium, Stellium. Stellium is 3 or more planets sitting together and they blend their energies together. So at this point, you've got the Sun, Mercury, the midheaven, Uranus, and Venus, love, eccentricity, work, communication, and your identity all sitting in your 8th. And it's about, how do I fit into this? What is my role here? Do I love doing this? Am I in the right situation or not? And you're going to be crystal clear on that. All of that culminates on the 18th because we have that full moon in Scorpio, and that occurs in your 2nd house of money. So emotionally, you're really going to be able to dive down and say, okay, this is the job. This is how I feel about it. I've had 2 weeks to really look at that. And now, am I being paid what I'm supposed to be paid? Is this reasonable? Is this just? Do you recommend any astrology self-study books? Yes. The Astrologer's Handbook is amazing, and Astrology for Yourself is also very good. There are workbooks included in that. It's really excellent. I'll make a separate video on the full moon in Scorpio, but remember, it's in your 2nd house of money. So this month, or at least the first half of the month, is all about sorting out your place in the world when it comes to your work and tweaking that if it's incorrect. On the 21st of May, the Sun and Mercury, so your identity and the way you communicate and think, they go into Gemini. So happy Gemini feeling. Gemini is a friend of yours because it's an air sign, you're an air sign. And Gemini is curious and it creates doorways of opportunity for you to walk through. The 9th house is education, travel, broadening your horizons, and moving. So the last week, the first 3 weeks of this month, you've really analyzed my position in this business, my work as a self-employed person? How much money am I making? Am I satisfied with the money that I'm making? And now at the end of the month, your identity is all about, let's look at the future and let's create a doorway for ourselves where we can make our life bigger. And that means that you make more money, or you have a more powerful position, or you become self-employed. So it's a month of Libra looking at its financial life and work life and where you belong, and really making good decisions on that. Jupiter sits in your third house all month. Jupiter is the planet of good luck and good fortune, and in your third house, you're lucky in your thinking. You can trust your thinking. Pluto and Saturn are in your family, in your fourth, but they're in Capricorn, in the sign of the worker. So I really feel that it's very, very likely for you to make changes when it comes to your work. Any questions, Libra? Or Libra, as you were called at this one convention I went to? Good morning from New Jersey. I'm a Sun, Gemini, Libra rising, Capricorn. I'm a musician, producer. What do you think about May for me? Well, don't ask me such long things, because I can't read them and I can't remember everything. So you're a Sun in Gemini, a Libra rising. Okay, so the Libra rising. So the Libra rising is going to help you do all of the things that I've just described. Is the musician producer situation right for you? Are you paying or being paid enough? Are you being as productive as you would like to be? Or is it really just expensive renting the studio space and it's just not happening? The hits aren't coming in. And would you be better off as a musician or as a producer? You will get real clarity on that this month. You'll examine that and look at it. And by the last week of the month, you'll be moving forward either as a musician or a producer, or both, if that's what your higher self tells you. Hi, career card this month. I'm not doing a card. If you're Libra, Sun, watch this for your Sun sign first, Libra Sun, then Libra rising, then Libra moon. And a career card for a Sun sign Libra, it's all about career for you this month. It's all about examining whether you're being exploited and hustled, or whether and you're being exploited because you're not being paid enough, and you get the promotion, you ask for it. The thing about this is nothing's going to be handed to you on a silver platter. You've got to ask, you've got to make the effort yourself. But career-wise, it looks excellent because you've never had so much clarity, and emotional clarity as well. So that totally serves you in making changes that you don't regret. How do we combine Sun, Ascendant, and Moon readings? Yeah. So I usually recommend that you watch two, the Sun and the Ascendant, because I'll tell you where the new moons are in what houses, and where the full moon in what houses they are, and what the priorities are. So if you watch two of them, so let's say one is the priority of career, and the other one is the priority of institutions you belong to and whether they're right. Those work very well together because you're looking at your career and you're examining it even more with that combination of your Sun and your rising, and you're really able to make good decisions to change that. If you look at the moon as well, it can get a little bit confusing and it can be a little bit too much info. Less is more sometimes. Gemini moon, Scorpio rising, Libra sun might be good for all this, right? Hello from Montana, so sick of snow. Okay. So you're Libra sun. So what I've said here is totally for you. Examine what you're doing work-wise, whether you should be in the institution you're in, or whether you should make yourself self-employed, whether it's right what you're being paid or not. So I hope that gives you something to go on, Libra, my dear Libras. Have a wonderful month. If you would like a private reading with me, then get in touch via the website, gregoryscott.com, and audio reading there. Thanks, Arul. I love making this content, and the bonus is that you guys watch. I just love doing this, and I'm always trying to make it better. That's why I'm doing it live, so that people get something out of these, because at the beginning of the reading I mentioned that I don't get as many views on these and I must be doing something wrong. So you guys are Libras, you guys know how to build relationships with other people. So tell me what I'm doing wrong now while we're live. What aren't you getting out of these readings that you would like? Is it more about your love life? Or do you dislike the fact that I just look at what's best for you in the month and that I don't tell you that, well, romance isn't going to be this great this month? Do you want me to put it into structures like that? Dis-moi. Dis-moi. Tell me. Oh, thank you. Kara, wow. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, Daria. If your name's Daria, sorry, I didn't read all of that properly. Okay, so guys, thank you so much. Have a great month, and I'll speak to you next month.